Hello everybody, this is Clarity here and I'm going to be making tutorial videos on fighting game because this game can be pretty confusing. People don't understand like basic combat and information. That the trailer can be pretty confusing as well, especially the combat, like iframes and such, it gets confusing. So I'm going to be making videos on pretty much everything so that new players can come and watch and learn how the game plays out and how to play. So the first thing I'm going to be going over is, you spawn here in the orderly barrier. And here, as you saw over here, this guy, he's chaotic and he got inside. So it pretty much sniped him down and killed him. Only orderly players can come in here. Orderly players can open and close a hidden door right here by pressing E. That only orderly players can open. And you can use it to escape people. If you're running away and you're coming through here, you can close the door on them and run out. If two orderly players are in here and one is beating up the other and fighting them or even hitting them with spells, it will actually give them some chaotic every time they hit the person. So while you're getting beaten up, he may become more chaotic than orderly and the barrier will start to actually kill him. So this is a good place to be if you just don't really want to fight anyone, if you want to stay safe. So the UI is really simple. Right here we have your first name and your last name. You get your last name from joining a house. These are the houses currently in the game. This is a house I used to be a lord of a while back, because I'm on an alt right now. My main is always chaotic because I grip a lot of people. Right here the yellow bar is your hunger that can be refilled by purchasing and eating meat or being a muto and eating blood, which I'll go over in another video. When the hunger drains out all the way, your regen is going to be extremely slow. So without hunger, you're pretty much not going to regenerate any health. Down here we have your silver, and you can drop silver by clicking on it and putting in an amount. And down here we have weather, your server region, and how old the server is. So weather effects, sometimes it can be windy or rainy, and you can actually turn this off because by clicking on it, because it on lower end PCs it causes some performance issues that some people can't handle. So you can turn them off and your FPS will be safe. If you're on a good PC, I like to keep them on because the weather looks pretty cool. Obviously server region, it'll affect your ping. I'm an USE server, so I have really good ping right now. And how old the server is, it'll affect if cron updates the game but you're in an old server. This will tell you, because then you'll know that this update isn't applied to the server that you're currently in. This is the leaderboard up here. You can hide it with tab. It just shows everyone in the game by their in-game names, and if you hover over them it shows their username. And also, if anyone is ranked, it'll show their rank next to their name. So going over orderly and chaotic again real quick, you get chaotic by gripping people, and you get orderly by rotting people, which means turning chaotic people into an NPC to jail them. There's no jailing animation or anything, it pretty much just resets them, and it gives you orderly and money for it actually. Gripping, however, gives you chaotic, and if they are a class, if they're not a Freshie, or if you're also a Freshie, as in, if two Freshies, if one grips another Freshie, you'll get half their silver. If a Freshie grips a super, you'll get half their silver. But if a super grips a Freshie, they won't get any silver. But they will lose the trinkets that are in their inventory, however. So only orderlies can enter here, chaotics cannot. And that's how orderly and chaotic works. So here we have the basic controls. Obviously, your mouse 1 button is just the punch combo. Your mouse 2 is the block breaker. F is to block, and that's also how you perfect block, which I'll show in a minute. Q is your dash button. You can dash in any cardinal direction, and if you're on fire, you can dash out of fire by dashing to the left, right, or backwards. You can climb by holding space on a wall, and if you're in combat, which you see up here, you can only climb for a little bit, so that you can't just climb away from fights. But once you get out of combat, you can climb for a pretty lengthy amount of time, so that you can actually get around easier. N is the taunt button. Depending on what weapon or what you have out, the taunt will be different. So with just nothing, you just crack your knuckles, and with what I have on me, which is a katana, that's what that looks like. So depending on what you have, your taunt will be different actually. Your inventory button is tilde. It's the key right under escape. I'll show what it looks like. And right here is where all your stuff will be that doesn't fit in your hotbar. One more thing I want to explain is mana. People compare this game to Rogue Lineage, but it's really not like Rogue Lineage in any ways, really. To cast spells, there is no mana bar. You just cast them. But there is mana in this game, because say you hit someone with your fists or even a weapon, they can't just cast a spell the second you hit them. It actually disables their mana for a little bit, so you can't cast a spell right after getting hit. Mages are ruling against this though, because if mages could just punch you and then disable your mana and then hit you with their overpowered mage spells, that would be broken, so they actually don't disable mana. So there is no mana bar, but there is mana. The way you shield mana attacks is with a mana shield. That's by blocking while holding a spell. I'll show a little bit of this in a minute. But while you have this bubble up, no spell can hit you except for Terra. Terra is a physical spell, so that actually goes through mana shield. You can, however, perfect block it, like as in with your fists. Or any weapon for that matter. However, all attacks go through mana shield. All punches, doesn't matter what class you are. Mages have an upgraded mana shield that reflects weapons except for the lightning katana. It still deals damage when you hit them, but they do not get stunned or ragdolled in any way. When you spawn in, you're going to notice that you're going to look different from other people. That's because everyone has a race that they spawn with. Everyone has a race that they spawn with. It's one of the regular races. There are rare races you can get from winning conquest and re-rolling your race, but you cannot spawn with rare races. On this character, I am an Infernum. My gloves, I spawn with these gloves, and I have a chance to proc fire on punches, and I also have an active ability called Molten Dispatch. I'll get into this in the future, but I'm just explaining how when you spawn in, you're going to have a random race. You could be a tree, or a robot, or a goblin, as you see down there. And they all do different things and have different abilities. So don't be surprised if you look a lot different. Here in my main account, I'm chaotic, so I cannot go into the oily barrier. It hurts you and flings you. I had to use an alt just to showcase that area. When you come out, this is the rest of the map. And I'm going to be showing you the locations of important places that you need to know. So first off, we're going to head to the bar, which is just right up here. Here's the village. And right over here we have the bar. This is where chaotic people spawn. They spawn on this platform right here. And this is the bar, has lots of trinkets. Good stuff. Here we have the village. Trinkets spawn inside these houses. I really like the fountain. And next we're going to go over to the cave. You can climb over the mountain up from the village. I'm just going to show you the proper way to go there. The cave is kind of like a second village. That is a dead end, nothing over there. Here's the entrance to the cave. You have some trinkets right there, some right there. And this is a second bar, actually, which also has a bunch of trinkets in it, and a ton of NPCs I didn't know were here. Hello? I've never seen these guys in my life. Anyway, that was interesting. Lots of trinkets in here. Here's a guardian. I didn't know about any of this help. This ruins the video, stop it. Anyway, this is the cave. I'm just showing you the general locations. I'm going to go into detail on what everyone does and who everyone is later. Coming out of the cave is a place called the Wasteland. If you climb right up here, you'll notice a big open area with trinkets scattered around. There's another guy here. Lumen Trainer. Some mountain zip lines that you can actually zip line down. Some weird lava thing over there. There's really nothing in this area except for trinkets and that one trainer. Not much reason to go here, but no one loots this area, so as you see, there's trinkets all over the place. No one really loots this area. So here you can see the orderly barrier over here. We took a right, village is up there, and over here we have the forest. And just like the wasteland, there's not a whole lot here. There's the assassin trainer and the scythe trainer, but besides that, nothing notable. No one comes here that much, and there's trinkets all over the place. But this is what they call the forest. That's all you really need to know about this place. So one thing I should explain is that when you are a freshie, or I should actually say classless, when you do not have a max class like I do, you actually take 50% less damage from people with max classes. And when people with max classes grip a freshie, they don't lose any silver. So if a max class grips you, you really don't lose anything. And I should also explain rotting right here. If you get rotted, you do lose chaotic, but for getting classes, you need grips, not chaotic. You can max any chaotic class in the game with just -1 chaotic. You do not need chaotic, you just need the grips. If you have 20 grips and then you become orderly and then become neutral, you'll probably be able to max the class with just that. So if you're chaotic, don't clog. If you're going to be rotted, don't worry about it. You don't really lose anything. So when it comes to weapons, every class in the game uses a different weapon, or actually some use the same weapon but different class. I'm going to show you where all the weapons are. There's a Sasis right here, Castus, Sasis. This is pretty much the fist weapon. I actually have this on. Here's the taunt for it. This increases punch damage for brawlers, and for mages and Phoenix, it does not increase punch damage. However, it keeps you from being blacksmith and getting a random weapon. Because if you are a Phoenix, for example, and you have a katana, you won't be able to use most of your Phoenix skills because it's a fist class, but you have a katana. If you do play rogue, it's pretty much just like that. So I'm a mage right now, and I personally like Sasis because with weapons besides the Sasis, you actually have a slower spell casting time since weapons are really strong. But with Sasis it's the same. So over here in the bar we actually have the katana. This is for Piandao and Ronin, chaotic and orderly katana class for 1000 silver. Right here are the scythe parts. You need these two parts and then an Arnt to get Scythe. I'll explain Scythe in more depth in the actual video. It's probably the most complicated class to get, considering the weapon itself is hard. So in the cave here are a lot of the weapons. You'll notice first that the spear is up here. You can get up there a bunch of different ways, but this is the way you're supposed to go up. The spear, trainer, and armor are right here. The spear sold for 900. That's my friend. He's actually rank 1 in the game right now, even though I'm way better. Over here, we have greatsword and dagger. I don't know which house exactly they're in. I think greatsword's in this one. It is. So greatsword is right here. It is sold for 1500 silver. And we can actually get daggers in this one, or the one next to it. Right here. The color doesn't matter. The little gem on your dagger depends on your mana color. There's also a dagger you can buy at the assassin trainer. He has it sticking out of a dude, and you can just buy it right there. So over here in the cave we have purchasable armors that you can get before you're actually a super class. The Thief outfit and the Scarlet Cloak, they both give a speed bonus. The Thief gives, I think, more speed than the Scarlet Cloak, but the Scarlet Cloak also gives an HP bonus that the Thief doesn't really have. And these two over here, they make you a little bit slower, but they give a lot of HP, and they give the same amount for both. It doesn't really matter which one you get. This one just looks clearly way better. So those are armors you can get. As a Freshie, I always get the Scarlet Cloak. A little bit more HP and speed. It goes a long way as a Freshie. So now I'm going to explain Sigil Helm. Yeah, as you see, Sigil Helm is pretty much a permanent wearable helmet you can get on your character. Even after wiping, you keep it. And it increases your HP when you put it on. It is extremely useful. I can't imagine someone actually playing without it. If you have a Game Pass, you can make it invisible. So I have the HP buff, but I don't lose all my clothing and such. So to get Sigil Helm, I'm going to show you right now. So to get Sigil Helm, what you have to do is you have to do all the quests in this village and get about 5 to 10 rots worth of orderly and talk to the guy in the bar, and he will give you the Sigil Helmet. All of these quests are very easy to do. This guy wants a ruby. You can find that pretty much anywhere. Pretty common. This one wants a scroll of jello, and she'll give you rubies. So, bam. So you do all the quests for these NPCs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's one more. Near the gate right there is a homeless man. You just give him 1 silver, and that's done. So then, once you do all these quests, and you have about 5 to 10 more rods after that, you come into the bar, and there will be a Sigil Helmet on this little pedestal right here. If someone got their Sigil Helmet less than an hour ago, it won't be there. It takes an hour for it to come back. You just talk to him, and you will have a dialogue option to give you the Sigil Helmet. And once you have it permanently. You cannot lose it. There's also a mana hood that you'll see people with. It's the color of your mana color. Only older players have this. The regular, we used to have a dark cow that is no longer obtainable, and it got switched to the mana hood. Mana hood is not obtainable, and the only way to get hoods is by the hood seller in the bar. It's the color of your mana color, and I like orange, so I always have an orange hood. But, you know, naturally, I just want the drip, so. There's also a metal arm you can get. If your left arm gets broken, you will not be able to cast spells. You'll only be able to use your snap. And also, having a broken arm, look, he just replaced his arm. He now has a metal arm. If you have a broken arm, you have slightly less HP, and to fix it, you come to this guy right here and you talk to him, and for 500 silver, he will give you a metal arm. The metal arm can still be broken, but is a lot harder to break, so it's definitely worth it, plus you can actually cast spells that way. Vint is something you can buy from the barkeeps. I have a Game Pass that makes it free for me. So once you have Vint, it's pretty much a regen potion, a one-time use. But when you drink it, it'll give you super boosted regen for a short amount of time, and then you have to go get another one from the man. I have the free Vint Game Pass, but I believe it's around 50 silver. And then you can just get another one just like that. As for all the important NPCs around the map, I'm going to go around and explain some of the more important ones, the ones that you really need to know about. So, in the bar here we have the prosthetic arm man. We have the guy that takes you to 2v2s in turning mode, and he also wipes your progression for you for when you want to go a different class. We have Clover here, who is an absolute scam unless you wear dives. You can use this guy to gamble your money, but I don't recommend doing that at all. Obviously the barkeep, he gives you Vint. There was a merchant in the village, as you saw. There's a merchant right here. We have a guardian right here. He does not do anything. Right here, this guy sells chicken for you to buy. Eat chicken, restore your hunger a little bit. You do lose chicken upon getting gripped. Right here is a volumen that you can actually talk to. He sells scrolls for a little bit more expensive, but it's more accessible for chaotic players. See, I can't go into the orderly barrier, So if I wanted to buy scrolls, I would come off this guy, and honestly, it's still not worth it. Goblin does not sell anything. Over here, you can actually set bounties on players. Right now, I have a bounty of 333, and you also get bounties from gripping a lot of people. If you talk to this guy, you can set bounties out on people. So we can actually set a bounty real quick on my friend. Oh my god. Bam, just like that. And see his bounty has gone up. So if someone grips him that's not in his house, they will actually get that money. In the bar, we have another guy that sells you Vint, and we have a bunch of NPCs in here. One of these NPCs gives you assassination quests, and honest to God, I have no idea which one it is. Inside the orderly barrier, we also have the scroll Roulette NPC, the only good way to get god spells. For 250 silver, he will give you a random scroll. I got Terra, and this is one of two ways to obtain god spells. The other is by picking them up off the ground, but the chance is so low, you're pretty much never going to get one. There is a much higher chance of getting it from volumin, though you can sink about 1,000,000 silver into this and still not get one. It's happened probably 100 times over with other people. So if you have a lot of silver to spare and you've just wiped and you need scrolls so you can actually fight people, this is a quick way to get your scrolls. For 1k silver you get 4 spells. Completely random, you could get duplicates, but that's how it is. Back to Divinos. He has 3 spawns in the orderly barrier. If you're chaotic, you're just going to have to server hop until he's not in the orderly barrier. He has 1 spawn right here. There's the barrier. He's right there. He has 1 over there, as you can see. And he also has 1 by the tree over there. Those are his 3 spawns. 1 Divinos spawn outside the orderly barrier is right here. He'll be sitting in the corner. Another one is in the cave and right outside the cave, which I'll show you right now. So coming up these stairs, he's going to be behind a tree that you can see clearly. He's going to be behind this tree right here, or standing right here. And inside the cave, you can actually see it just from the entrance, so you don't have to go all the way inside. He will be in the stall far over there. You can see his blue robe. He's not there, of course, but he will be behind this stall. Every time you get a snap spell, or anyone gets a snap spell, he teleports to a new location. So if you can't find him in one place, check all the others. There's also one more important NPC I need to show you, and that's called Fang. You can go there by either having a Fang spell or rank 1 and typing Fang with an exclamation point. You see. And naturally, I highly doubt anyone here is going to get rank 1, and Fang spells are unobtainable. There's another method to get there, and that's by either being a Ronin and talking to Gladio, or being orderly and talking to Gladio. Never mind. You can only go to Fang by being a Ronin or having Fang. And if you talk to Fang while orderly, he will take all of your silver and your weapon and kill you, and he'll take away a lot of your orderly. However, chaotic people can turn orderly people into Fang for money and bonus chaotic, so watch out for that. Though if a chaotic person turns you in, you don't lose any money or weapon, only if you talk to him while orderly. So if you ever find yourself in the Fang room and you're orderly, do not talk to Fang. You also cannot use spells in the Fang room, So next I'm going to show Vamp. Pretty much you can become a vampire by being fed on by a vampire and getting lucky. You'll burn and become a vamp after that, and you can only lose Vamp by either being cured by a Potrin or wiping. When you're Vamp, you'll have increased knockback, just as you saw, and increased speed and much increased regen. However, you take a lot more burn damage, and feed is kind of hard to get because you cannot eat chicken. And also, you burn in the sun. That's what happens when a vamp tries to eat chicken. If you have a class and you want to wipe it, let's say I'm a Lumen right now and I do not want to be Lumen, you come to the bar and you talk to this NPC and you put in wipe my progression. When you wipe your progression, he will reset your silver and all of your spells except for your god spells. You don't lose your god spells. I have one called Inflammator, so I keep this every time I wipe. He also resets your snap because you no longer have the spell, so you cannot use your snap anymore unless your snap spell is your god spell. When you wipe, you will lose your racial progression as well. You keep Mana Hood and you keep Night Helmet if you happen to have that. And you also keep your rank. So do not worry about losing anything really important. All you lose is your class and your basic spells and silver. So next I'm going to go over houses. I'm currently the lord of a house called Cinders, and this is one of my members. This is my friend. He's the lord of House Rez, and he has a title for being rank 1 called Servant of Fang. He also, as rank 1, has a Fang resurrection that he can use, so he can scream and come up from the knock state with around half to full HP. But houses essentially are pretty useful in the fact that if you have an attack that targets other members, like Sinetter, the healing spell, if you have the snap, it heals house members and house members only. If you have Snap Pondus, it does not cast on house members. Terramay does not hit house members. It's useful to be in a house, and also you can call backup if you're ever being ganked or something. So that's pretty nice to know. Yep, that's all I have for this video. It was just general info. I'll make combat videos, I'll make class videos on how to counter and how to play every class. I'll make a video on all the spells, their implications, specs, all of that. I'll have all the information we need in clear, concise videos that you can watch if you don't feel like reading through the outdated Trello. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video and stay tuned for the next one. See ya.